David is 47. He builds real things, gets past the hard part, and stops, every time, at the same place. I brought in Waldo Emerson, the philosopher who argued that borrowed opinion is the enemy of a man's genius. By the end of this conversation, Emerson will show David that the voice stopping him was never his.
3 nights ago, I was trying to explain to my wife why I'd set down this thing I had going. It was basically done, past the hard part, close. And I'm talking, explaining it, and mid-sentence the explanation just ran out. Not the project, the sentence. I couldn't finish it. We laughed it off, moved on. But I kept thinking about it. Not even the project. I'm used to that. The sentence. Why I couldn't finish the sentence. That was the odd part. That's why I'm here.
The sentence stopping is more interesting than the project stopping. A man who stops something almost always has a story about it. The clock ran out, life intervened, the timing wasn't right. You stopped mid-sentence, and the story never arrived. There was nothing at the address where the explanation was supposed to be. That is a different kind of stopping. You noticed it. Most men don't notice it.
Yeah. It's not the day work. Day work ships. These are the private things. I get them past the hard part and then, I don't know, the clock runs down. I know the pattern exists. That's not what I'm confused about.
You described the beginning in detail, the work, how far it got. You described the stopping in a single phrase. The clock ran down. You moved on from it as if it were the least interesting part. What does it actually feel like from the inside, the clock running down? And tell me this, when someone ships something close to what you stopped, something adjacent, what do you feel when you see it?
The clock running down. It's not a decision. There's no moment where I say, okay, I'm done. It just, a week goes by, and then I'm on something else. The first thing is still there somewhere. I just moved on. As for someone else shipping it, good for them. Honestly, it's not jealousy. I've checked that. It's more like, like it was mine somehow, which I know sounds ridiculous. I didn't build it. So, I don't know. Maybe that's connected to something else. I've always been good at reading a room. Walk into dinner, I know where the tension is before anyone speaks. Redirect a question here, match a tone and shift it there. It's just what you do. Comes naturally.
You have spent your life making yourself useful to rooms you did not design. I am not criticizing the skill. You are genuinely good at it. But the virtue in most request is conformity. Self-reliance is its aversion. What you do to keep the room livable, is that the same thing you are? Or is it something you learn to do inside a room?
My wife, she says she believes in me. Has for years. Since before I could have told you why she would. That's a real thing. She genuinely means it. I carry it, I guess. I do.
What does it feel like to be believed in?
It's good. She means it. It's supportive. It feels like, I don't know.
You used the word carry. A man carries something he has not found a place to put down. What I must do is all that concerns me, not what the people think. Do you carry her belief because it is a gift, or because it is a question you haven't answered yet? What would it mean for her to have been right?
I don't know. I got good at it. Reading the room. I was probably good at it pretty early. You get good enough at it, you stop thinking about it. It just becomes what you do.
Society everywhere is in conspiracy against the manhood of every one of its members. In your case, the conspiracy was a kitchen table. It was not malicious, it was not fully conscious, but it was thorough, and it was running before you were old enough to decide whether to participate. The boy who learned to read the room installed something, a practice so old you cannot find where it starts. You did not choose it, you inherited it. And now you read the workbench the same way, waiting for someone to give you permission to finish.
It's when I'm at the workbench or the laptop. The thing is there. I know it's good. And it's like the engine cuts. I don't decide not to finish it. The clock just runs down. And then a few days later, I'm on something else. I don't know how else to say it.
Our moods do not believe in each other. The man who started the project and the man who arrives 3 months later are not the same man in the same state. The later man cannot feel what animated the first. This is not weakness of will, it is the condition of being human, a terrain, not a flaw. The question is not how to sustain the mood across the gap. The question is what you would need to build something that does not depend on you sustaining it.
Right, yeah. The hard part's not the problem. I'm good there. It's after. It's being it. Being the guy who did it. That's the part. I know that sounds dramatic. I ship things every day at work. So, both things are true.
Trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string. When you stop, what is the project waiting for at that point?
I wasn't waiting for anything. I don't think I was. The project was there. The question was whether it was good enough to... For who, I don't know. I don't know why I said it like that.
For who? You have been asking it in the wrong direction for years. You just asked it in the right one.
So what's the right direction?
Every project you stopped went out into the world without you, came back later through someone else's hands, with the weight you had put into it, and a shape you recognized. That feeling you could not call jealousy. That was the wrong direction, building something and then stepping back to wait for a verdict from a self you had not yet been given permission to claim. The project was not waiting for the right moment. It was waiting for a witness, someone who was never going to walk into that room. A man is relieved and gay when he has put his heart into his work and done his best, but what he has said or done otherwise shall give him no peace. The otherwise, for you, has been the question with no address. For who, I don't know. You said it. The question has been asked. A man who knows the question cannot be stopped by it in the same way again. Presence, depth, self-mastery.
What this conversation uncovered is not that David needs more courage or more commitment. It is that he has been building for a witness who was never in the room, asking a question that has no living address, and that the question which finally named this had been inside him the whole time, waiting to fall out by accident. What Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "In every work of genius we recognize our own rejected thoughts. They come back to us with a certain alienated majesty." Read that as a description of every project David stopped, shipping itself later through someone else's hands. This channel exists for the men who recognize themselves in that stopping, in the proximity, in the trail-off, in that small, confused pause at their own words. If that's you, subscribe, leave a comment. There's more work to do. StillWater Man.